Yeah. Luke was sharing, a little bits and pieces about his differences of coaching and stuff. And so
Okay.
we got to a point of he thinks he's challenged with coaching and teaching with the learning modalities, different learning modalities that people have. And Calen, I know you teach youngsters, and you probably clearly understand what different learning modalities are.
Mm.
And
I use all of them. I try to when I teach.
yeah. And I know when Luke, you just mentioned that when you're in professor mode that you talk a lot. Well, that is visual. That's the modality of being visual
No,
when you
it's
talk a
audio.
lot.
That's
Well,
audio and also verbal.
well, it's not, it's if you talk a lot and you talk quickly, it's actually yes, you've got your listeners listening, but you are being visual. When you're talking, you are using a visual modality to, and they're using their auditory. But the thing is, when you're talking to someone, you're painting a picture and in the other person's mind. And so you're creating a visual image in their mind.
That's I need to use some tools, some prop, because majority of people, if my clients are ADHD, the working memory is a deficit. It's a short. People can't hold that long. And also, if I talk, I have to bullet point and to use a tool to interrupt people. For example, PPT, slides, and some other funny pictures and a word, because some people can see that can be better. That's why normally if appears, normally I give a turn because I know I have to pause. Otherwise, people don't have awareness, just keep talking. I know because for ADDers, if you know, I'm like, for example, I'm talking now, probably you can't hold your brain. If you take a notes, probably fine, or you're very focused, can burn a lot of energy. So have to pause. have to think about.
Pause, and every time you pause, if you pause, and then every time we pause, we allow others to absorb the information that you just shared. And then, but this is a little trick I use because when I teach public speaking, the public speaker needs to use all modalities or they're going to lose chunks of their audience. So, and if you use it in a pattern, because most of your audience is going to be visual, 65% of your audience will be visual.
Yeah.
And then it goes then it goes auditory and the kinesthetic in order.
From my coaching school, second coaching school, we have 8 modalities. Do you mind if I share a little bit now?
8. Well, 8. I know there's 8. I know there's all these little other ones, but I was just talking about the top 3 that is more of a learning preference instead of we don't want to label people. So it's like a learning preference. And those are the top 3. And so there's, oh my gosh, Luke, there's probably more than that. There's 50 learning modalities. I mean, it's like, I've studied this too. It's like crazy. If you really dissect it and pull it apart. So, but yeah, if we just stick with 3 and we'll hit the most of our listeners.
Not enough for ADDers.
Yeah.
3, not enough.
Yeah. But it's like, I work with someone that's with ADHD, and because I understand my son was ADHD and everything, and it's like, I understand what they need, what their needs are. So I listen, I stay there with them. I become very kinesthetic in my own body so that I can hear and feel everything that they're saying. And then we talk so they feel like they're deeply heard and listened to. So if kind of like that, it's like I use my kinesthetic. My primary modality is kinesthetic. I'm my happiest when I am kinesthetic. But when I'm learning something, sometimes I want to learn from a visual component where the people are painting the picture and they're doing it quickly. That way I can grab the information quickly and do something with it. Like when I watch these videos that you guys are watching, I put it on 2X. It's like, just give it to me down and dirty, quickly. So Um,
I think also it's a contextual. It depends on what kind of situation you may use
absolutely,
your
it does.
modality more.
Absolutely,
That's
it does.
that's
Yeah.
another thing from YouTube.
Yes. And as Calen knows too, the age of the person, how, where are you in life based on your age and everything. It's always a little different. So the big picture though, is like, if you show up with whoever you're working with, you show up and you match them where they're at. You meet them and understand their world of where they're at. You start with that. You match the language that they use, you match the cadence of their words, you match their body language. Start with that. Always start
I'll
with
give a
that.
questionnaire. I'll give
Yeah.
a questionnaire to ask before to go
Yeah.
to save time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that evaluation. And then you build that rapport right off the top of the hat, right off the top of the thing. And then you can go forward. But that's the whole thing about creating your marketing. You have to put all of this into words, and so that they all of a sudden instantly realize that, oh my gosh, this person gets me. So you have to go and do some research to say, okay, what is it, like part 3 that we just listened to. Calen, did you see the video too?
I saw most of it, but not the whole thing because it lagged out for me towards the
Yeah.
end.
Oh, okay. So basically what it is you find out what it is you offer, the benefits you offer, not the features, the benefits that you offer, and that your competitors do not. And then
Yeah.
and that's what you put into the ad. You put in what their hot button, and like have you ever felt like you started out, have you ever felt like, XYZ? Have you are you paying big bucks for, something worthless that's getting you nowhere? And so you have to mind read what your prospect is, and so that they get like, oh yeah, this person gets me. And that's the rapport building in words and language. Plus, you also talked about some of those big letters. Some of those letters can be bolded, and then they can be like the entire first line can be all, in caps and capitalized letters to basically you got to yell at people. You got to yell at in your ad.
Don't like that, but
Yeah,
it's necessary.
but Luke, you got to do it. You can get away with it like it's the title of the book. The title of the book can be 1 word or 3 words, real short and sweet, but it's bold. We have to interrupt them because there's so much noise going on out in the world. There's so many coaches out there, and there's so many.
And I'd rather not put
people.
in the dirty water to mingle with that. I just find the different ways, alternative, like partner with other people and referral, and to show the brilliance rather than have to find, because that's not very sustainable.
Well, it's just the one piece of the pie.
Yeah, I know, but it worked for, but I need to have a self-care as well. It's very important.
Well, I don't think the marketing takes away from your self-care.
Because sometimes, if you say something painful, you may say something, and maybe, you may involve competition again. And yeah,
you don't have to say anything painful, but you do have to touch their hot points.
That's true. Yeah.
Doesn't have to be
that.
painful. I don't like to market with painful but I'll use things are you sick and tired of. And then my whole, like all my books start, when I write my books, it's like, stop the madness, hey, because that's what people want. They want the madness to stop. So I use stop the madness all the time in a lot of my marketing. So, hey, what do you want to stop? And what do you want instead?
That day with Calen, we talk about, and now a lot of people are very good at marketing and good marketers. But for the series, that's that's actually from a video they said it before. A lot of people, they get that one, and then later they know they will get an 80% refund, 70% something refund. But later, they're not doing a good favor for the people who really bring the massive value. That's really, really sad.
It is sad. It is sad.
Well, You look at
Sorry?
Macca's or McDonald's, like the crap they give you and how big a brand it is.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of that in the world in most industries.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, they have McDonald's particularly, you know, their brand is the brand is on every commercial that you hear or sing. It's all about, you know, I don't know what their slogan is nowadays, but it's always about, you know, hey, bring the family together at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Have connection with at McDonald's, have, you know, all this kind of stuff. You know, Starbucks, their whole thing is, I was just reading about it recently too. Starbucks, their great plan was to make sure that people could, this was the third place that they wanted people to come to. The first place was their home, and the second place was work, and the third place was going to be Starbucks. So all their
Starbucks.
marketing was, we want you to come and get comfy and sit here all day with your laptop and communicate and connect with people. We want you to be here all day. And they've done a really good job doing that.
Mm.
Yeah, and also my friend, one of my friends, she's my classmate and from Canada, and she mentioned about she know a very big company want to hire her because she's like me, we are credential coaches. They just want to leverage her credential to make the name to company really. She said she didn't want to join them because they big company and partner with other big companies, and because the brand, and they hire the people, train them very short time, and then ask them to coach other people or train other people.
Yeah.
She just feel like, no, I don't feel comfortable. If I go there, I feel to be alone, something, just like something. I feel like, oh my God, that's, but they feel like it's so great. They just say they can earn a lot of money. This company really want to pay them a lot of money.
Yeah.
And these people, they just train a really short time and they train the same mode. I feel like, oh, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing that we all know, I've working with you guys for a long time now, and it's like, we're all highly sensitive people. And we just need to have that deep depth of connection and that depth of knowledge and that depth of, we're just deep people. So when we see shallowness, we think that's horrible. But if we could just understand that it's not, you know, we're not the end all be all of life. We're just a piece of it. And there's another percentage of people out there that there's people that need us, but there's people that don't need us. There's people that don't understand us. So I look at the world and is that it's a salad bowl. You got all these little pieces of salad in the salad bowl, and it's all good. And when it's all made up and thrown together, we're good. It's a good salad.
Sure.
So yeah. So
how to stand out. That's like always like a marketing position, dominant marketing position.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's also a crowded world too. It's a crowded world. So how are we going to get the clients? We have to interrupt them, and we also have to let them know that we care. That we care more about you than anybody else as a coach, you know, and we offer this and we offer that.
But they care too much, they will see you as a therapy. And then they just come to you and then think about you are the person to save them. And then that's actually go to another extreme.
Well, no, my clients come to me because, you know, it's like, because I save them. I save their marriage. I save their life. I save their business. And I do that. I help them do what the best I can, you know, and I also believe that I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make them drink. They have to do their part too.
Yeah.
And I can't push a dead horse up a hill. They have to do their part too. But when we get to the other side and everything, they're just like, oh my gosh, my life would never, it's like a year ago, I wouldn't been able to handle the stress that I'm experiencing right now because you've taught me some skill sets that I never thought possible. So yes, we save their lives, we save their marriages, we save their business, we save you know, that's what we do. And we don't have to do therapy to do it.
And that's like, I did the mentoring for the nutrition as well. And actually works really, really well. just but it's take a lot of energy, to be honest. You have to, sometimes I feel like I'm, you know, like, yeah, I feel like a lot of clients need to work for inner side, but I feel like whether it's sustainable, whether they can independent, we are not there, they go back to real world, whether they can still apply.
Yeah.
So that's my concern about whether it's sustainable. If
Well,
you
no,
just
if we're
mean?
exhausted from helping people, if we're exhausted from helping, that means we're giving them too much of ourselves. We're not giving them the space to grow on their own. And a lot of coaches do that, and they actually quit coaching because they can't handle it. I was there at once too. I used to do that too. I used to give too much of myself.
This happened for me this year.
Yeah. And so but you've got to understand that they, like you said, and I tell people, I says, because we want the best for people. We want people to grow. We want people to get out of their from under the rock that they're at. We can clearly see that. As sensitive people, we can see that and feel that. And we want to stop feeling their pain. We want to stop feeling their pain. So we try to help them, but then you get to a point where you're exhausted and overwhelmed, and we think about them constantly. We don't, as soon as we get off the phone or Zoom, we just we still think about them, and we still ruminate. We're the best ruminators on the planet. That's what we do.
If in future, if I find that one, I will refer out, because before I didn't. Later, I feel like that's the way the training is.
Yeah.
We know how to protect or guard our energy, and how to set boundaries if something happens. And that's why system work. That's from Tony is really, really helpful. So that you have a system to how to make everything on track and how to protect yourself.
Yeah. And sometimes the way how we protect ourselves is we imagine a pink bubble with golden lights inside of it surrounding us. That's how we protect ourselves from other people's energy. We can still help them, but we help them by doing that with ourselves. It's an imaginary pink bubble with golden lights, and it protects us from their energy. And then we can still help them. But I actually tell people, I says, listen, I've worked with you for so long. I says, you don't seem to be making any headway. And I think it's because you're just being stubborn. And I need to let you know, I can't push a dead horse up a hill. So you got to decide, are you going to stop being a dead horse? That's how I talk to them, really clear. And then they decide.
You very gentle approach. Some people just blame you and make you feel so bad, prove you wrong, and people are so defensive, and then they just don't know how to take action. Later, just every time, I even don't want to turn up because they feel so shameful. But actually, it's like to check about people what's working, and what's working for you. It's not. It's a work for me. Doesn't mean to work for you. I have to have a compassion for that. But a lot of people don't do that.
No, they don't. But we've all been trained as coaches, and we know that as long as we can keep blaming something outside of us, then we will never get better. If we put the blame on, oh, my neighbor did this, my husband did that, my wife did that, my boss did this, and blah 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 blah, they'll never make any changes. They cannot. They have to take responsibility for what their part is in it, and then they can. Then they'll start beginning to think, oh my gosh, it's me. There's a common denominator here, and it's me. And then they can start moving forward. But Luke, you're right. There's a lot of people out there that won't ever make that step. They won't. But what's going to happen is if you have marketing out there that says, are you sick and tired of always feeling like everybody else is attacking you, or everybody else out there is against you, or everybody out there is, then eventually the message is going to sink in, and they're going to like, okay, this guy knows something. Yes, I'm feeling that way. And this guy knows something that can help me. So they start crossing that bridge of saying, hey, I'm sick and tired of looking at the whole world as they're out to get me, and I need help. And this guy or this person or this gal has the answer. That's all I'm saying is like, you've got to, because not everybody's ready. All the marketing we do, people aren't ready to buy from our marketing. They're not. They're not. That's why the marketing is the way it is. It's like your squeeze page. They're not. They're just looking for information and education. They're not ready to buy. You have a big, beautiful, glorious website. It's not going to sell anything. They're not ready to buy. They're looking for information. But if you get there, if you give them a report, give them a case study, give them something, and now you've got their name and email address, and you can continue to market to them until one of these days something's going to happen and they're going to be like, I need help, and Luke is the person that can help me. That's how the whole thing is designed to do.
That's like normally people other do, but I just feel like that's a lot of people do that way. I feel like, I know, but I just feel whether it's sustainable for myself, because I personally, I don't like it that way. I probably can find another way, because that way just feel not very resonant with me.
Okay. Well, how are you getting your clients?
I got my clients before all come from
Referrals.
from like internet. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Just,
but there's something that people are saying about you to refer you. There's something they're saying about you, and they're saying, hey, you know, this person, you know, Luke can help you with XYZ. There's something they're saying. What are they saying?
wait, I just be very careful about that part. One my paid clients is friends. The next feel like they know me at the gym, they pay me.
Yeah.
And also another several they know from my class. And I think the referral one means like, because he asked my previous people and then to confirm, and then they say it looks good and give it a go. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I mean the referral.
Okay.
I haven't got anyone from social media. No.
Okay.
Social media just wasting time.
And you're not going to get anything from social media unless you change your message. Social media needs, so if you go on social media, you have to work really hard to interrupt them and keep and engage them. You have, and social media is a tough nut to crack because of that. But I know lots of people like you know, Bia and everything that are doing really well on Twitter, really well. You know, because a short, sweet message, they throw it out there, and all of a sudden, you know, she's got a couple of new clients. So it's that interrupt and engage that you have to do massively on social media, because it's so big and it's so busy. There's lots of busy moving parts.
I need to find my comfort zone and do it again, but I need to find the right one. It's not like, okay, other people do that, you have to do that. No, bullshit.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Because if the people like sometimes, because like I know a way my ways works, so like people always before I've been labeled along my way, but later realize my own way is the best way.
Yep, yes. Exactly. You know, we're highly sensitive
Probably
people.
Slow.
We tend to be artists, and we do our art. I call it everything an art with us, because it is very personal and very artistic how we do things, and we got to do it our way.
It's slow, but it's okay. But figure out, that's why system that's probably the good things about the training. They say like probably partner with other people. Because for me, I can partner with a psychiatrist and a physio, because my Pilates can be physio and psychiatrist for the ADD coaching. That can be a good way. Yeah,
exactly. Joint venture. Make a joint venture agreement with other people that also, you know, treat the same people that you do.
That's probably a sustainable way.
Yeah. Joint venture is like one of the best ways. When you get a power partner, you joint venture with a power partner, and then you refer people to them, they refer people to you, and it's a beautiful partnership. It's one of the best ways to do it.
Jay Abraham just said the same, you know, like he said some CDs, you know, from fast chain supermarket, they give like 30% commission. And then later, just, you know, you sell like 150 and you get 50, and then another 100 for me.
Yeah.
And then it's a really big business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Really good.
It is. You know, when you set that up as an either affiliate fee or a referral fee, then it adds money to your bottom line without you having to do hardly anything.
That's the leverage. I'd rather to use other people's social media platform and the partner give the benefit, bring the value to say like, I can bring this value for you, and they can do the job. Because some people like do it. They just enjoy, they feel like it's so good. But for me, like, I just don't like it.
Well, the biggest thing about when you use someone else's audience, it's like you're speaking to many people with somebody else's audience. Their audience is already built, and you just waltz in and say what you're going to say. And plus, if they introduce you, if they introduce you to their audience, they're transferring their power to you, to their audience.
You have to think about what value can bring to this person, what benefit they can get. That's so important to know why they want to choose you.
Exactly. And this whole entire program that you're in is trying to help you understand what that is.
Yeah. And also from Business Master, I have learned about quit business, exists a business.
Yeah.
And that's why it's easy for it, because some people, they probably business is not profitable. They may get a start. They can't come out. So I feel that way, for some people, they can be sustainable, but if you really, because a lot of trial and error and experimenting, that probably can minimize the risk as well.
Right. So Calen, you've been listening, diligently listening and everything.
Yeah.
You got something to share? Anything good going on this week?
I'll show you one thing I made. I'll send it to you. Hang on. This is more in relation to what I'd ideally want to build, but I'm realizing more and more as I make this that I'm more interested in the academic side of personal development than the coaching side. Like, I just like studying the living daylights out of stuff. So and I like, that's kind of a different level of contribution, but it's more what I've been doing.
It is actually, people actually like that. It's like when we can gather information from multiple different sources and then give them the cliff notes. You know what cliff notes are?
Yeah.
Cliff notes, give them the cliff notes. They'll pay you so that they don't have to read a 700-page book. They just want the cliff notes, and you've got the cliff notes.
Because they've been coming up, because I've still been thinking lifestyle design because I obsess over the idea, even though it's not talked about really, or it is, but not directly.
Yeah.
And I'm going, all right, well, what do we actually need? Like, what do you need to devise a good life? So again, I did some contemplation into it yesterday and went pretty out there and came up with, hang on, just making sure I've got the right thing.
Yeah, no worries.
Yep. But that's it. So this bit of paper, in my mind, it can be used by anyone at any stage of any culture to map out their life, map out what they want, but also to apply a scale to each of these metrics and to actually assess where they are and where they need to grow.
That is sweet.
So then my left, it's in third. So there's 6 total. There's 3 on the bottom, which are fundamental to the higher 3.
Yeah.
So you kind of need to tick off the stuff down the bottom for the stuff at the top to thrive. So like, you need resources to have time, which is on the left, and you need to be in a positive environment, like in a good environment to have rewarding relationships. So they kind of bounce off each other.
Yeah.
But also, I've got the left side is essentially, how do I explain it? Yeah. So it's like health is like, an essential thing you need.
Yeah.
And then I broke that into 2, which is physical and emotional health. And they're underlying. And then for environment, I've got safety and novelty, which I guess is similar to Tony's certainty and uncertainty.
It is.
And then for resources, I've got net worth, investment, security, and expendable. And then up from expendable, I've got giving. So if you have an abundance of resources, you can give away resources to help people.
Yeah.
And then for time, I've got social, professional, and personal. And then for relationships, I've got professional, social, and then family or your inner circle. But what I would look at doing is applying a metric scale to each of these variables to say, have I ticked this and how well have I ticked this? So you can look at time and say, all right, social time, is great. Like I've got a great friend group, and then professional, I hate my time, like I hate my job. So
Yeah.
then it's like a obvious red flag. Okay, I have to fix this particular metric of my life. And
Yeah.
that's sort of how I look at lifestyle design. It's like actually having a model you can screen through, seeing this as like a map,
Mhm.
and going, all right, where can I use this to make subtle improvements across all these metrics?
Yeah, and make it easy so that it's doable when it's easy.
Yeah.
Make it, because this is, I use the metaphor of a tank. It's like if you have, like we have tanks in our lives. So we have a joy tank where we get great joy. We can fill up our joy tank by doing things that make us feel good, and whether we spend time with somebody, or we have great relationships, or we have resources or health, it fills up a joy tank. And then you have all these tanks, that you fill up with everything. And then then whatever you do, the question is, what do you do to fill up your joy tank? And then you ask yourself, well, if I go do that, let's say I go ride a bicycle. If I go ride a bike around the park or something like that, oh my gosh, that's such great joy. So my joy tank is full. Then you ask us, well, okay, so how long do I have to ride my bike to fill up my joy tank? And so that and how long does that last before the joy tank starts depleting? Yeah. So it's kind of like when you can gauge it, like if you can come up with something that you can gauge, if I do this experience, then how long is it going to be, so that they can take control of their lives. Does that make sense? They can keep, and here's the other thing you ask yourself this question is like, who in your life will deplete your joy tank in a heartbeat? Who is that person in your life that depletes your joy tank in a heartbeat, and you've got to consider getting them out of your life? Who is that person?
Exactly. Yeah. And I can probably, or not so much out here, but I can think when I go back to Newcastle, because I've been out in the middle of nowhere for a year, there's people I'll probably associate less with, and people I'll try and associate more with.
Yeah. So yeah, if you quantify this is a beautiful picture, by the way. It's a beautiful.
Yeah, it's just,
yeah.
I just looked at that and went, that's everything. That's what, like 10 years of me pondering that question to come up with that model.
Yeah.
And basically going, all right, well, that for me, I looked at, do you know who Ken Wilber is?
No.
He's like a personal development, as far as personal development, in my mind, he's the most advanced person on the planet. But he's an enlightened guru. I think he lives in the US. He's an enlightened guru from the US that developed a thing called integral theory, which is essentially integrating hundreds of different models of developmental psychology. But it's an evolution on spiral dynamics and ego development theory and all that stuff. And he's put hundreds of things together.
Yeah.
But he's got 5 typologies, he calls them.
Yeah.
So he's got quadrants, which is I meaning the ego. It's meaning your body or the vehicle. And then we meaning the culture. And then the 4th quadrant's like the external material world. So that's quadrants. And he's got levels, which is like stages, similar to spiral dynamics. Then he's got lines, which is you have different levels across every area of your life. And then he's got states, which is states of consciousness. And then he's got types, which are like personality types and stuff like that. So I based this model off Ken Wilber's typologies and developmental psychology. So I looked at it like you could be anywhere from purple to turquoise on the spiral, for example, and you could use that model regardless of your culture, regardless of your beliefs. And like, it doesn't matter where you come from, you can look at this model and use it. So in that way, it's like a map where you can map out your life and actually identify any areas you need to work on really easily.
Yes, I can see that.
Because you might focus for 10 years on money or on resources, but that's only 1/6 of this model. And then other areas in your life might suffer. So you've got to go, okay, if I focus really heavily on this one metric and sacrifice all these other ones, it's like a temporary thing. to try and be more
Yeah.
balanced later.
Exactly. And Tony does touch on that too. He touches on, you know, if you focus on one thing, then the other areas will suffer. And you could wake up, like you said, if you focus on your career and money and everything for years and years, then you wake up one day and you have all this money and you, like, basically the king has built his castle and he has no queen. And so it's like, okay, but there are some people out there that prefer to do that. There's people out there, okay, I want to build my castle first before I go and invite a queen to come join me. And some of them want to find their queen and they build the castle together.
Yeah. And I'm more the first way. I want to build a castle and then invite someone into that at some point. But
yeah,
it's very different in my mind. Like I say, and people think it's a limiting belief, but I just don't care about money. I just don't. Like, as long as I have freedom and I can pay the bills and like have a bit of fun, that's literally it. That's all I need. Yeah,
well, a lot of us,
so it's more,
a lot of us highly sensitive people, money is not a driver for us.
No,
it's
so
not.
Like, you should be making 7 figures as a coach. It's like, it's not going to make any difference to my happiness if I make 7 figures or 6 figures.
Yeah,
it might be like a few percent, but it's very minuscule. It means I can help more people.
Yes,
which is the other pull of that. But again, I'm not the kind of person that wants to be working all the time.
Right. We don't want that, because we value, like Luke keeps saying, we value our own personal sanity and our health. And so we protect that. We cannot be drained and help people. And sensitive people get drained really easily because we care so deeply about people. And we
care about other people much more than us.
Exactly.
I know I used to be that, but later I have learned no.
Yeah.
I used to be that.
So so you know, I know our tribe really, really well. And so that's there, that we've got to constantly work on a balance. We got to constantly work on a balance, because yes, we deserve to make enough money that we can have everything we want in life, but we cannot exhaust ourselves to the point where we're miserable, because then we feel like we sacrifice too much.
Yeah. So my goal,
get that. Yeah.
Next year, because every quarter, every 3 months, I use that model and assess my own life with it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like beta testing it to see if it works, and it does.
There you go. Package it.
But I'm adding more layers to it. So now I'm kind of going, I want to package this and put it in as many people's heads as possible. But I'm also kind of going, it's not something I can do by myself. I need to bring people in. I need to find collaborators.
Yep.
Because it's not just going to be a one-man show where like I do all the marketing and do all the everything. It's just not possible. So I need to find other people that are ambitious, that are into the same sort of stuff, and or build something together.
You build out and have a lot of the back end tech stuff automated. You have a lot of going on and everything. So I just signed up with a coach. He's a coach, but he's also he's in the IT business. He has a degree in IT engineering and stuff. And so he was coaching, and then he realized that he really loves IT a lot, and he understands when you connect automation and everything. So he created his whole platform is under one roof. And so I just signed up with him to automate my marketing, get me leads, automate everything. And and so because I know he has trained his virtual assistants how to do all this work behind the back, so he doesn't have to do it. But it's that's what, because we cannot go out there and do all the marketing. We can't do all the, it's so expensive and so time consuming. And that's what I was doing before I started this, with this company, is because I was trying to create my own group coaching program on a platform, and I was spending way too much time sitting in front of the computer with tech, and it's like, I like tech, I can do it, but my life was off balance. I was, trying to create this, and I'm just exhausted by being in front of the computer. And it was during COVID, so we weren't doing anything else. So that was my excuse. Oh, well, I can't go anywhere else. I might as well do this. But then after a while, I'm just like, I'm exhausted. And so I decided that I'm going to go with a program that's already built out. That's why I'm with this. That's why I'm with this company here to use this and everything. But then I met Javier through this company, and because he totally understands what's going on in the back end. Now he's created a whole thing. And I'm like, okay, I'm signing up with you because you have all the automation and it's going to feed me leads, in my language, it's just amazing. I can't even explain to anybody how it works. But that's the whole thing. It's like, we need people to help us. We need some automations to help us. We just can't do it alone. We're not designed to do it alone. And, even though like, look, if you go out and get joint venture partners and get referrals to you, there's still a lot of things that if they were automated, it would take a lot off your shoulders. So that's just something to maybe think about. If I can introduce you to him when you're ready, but it's connecting, there's no separate calendar. You don't have to use Zapier because he built everything under one roof. He has calendar, he has credit card processing. He has right now, he has everything you need. So, and he's still working on improving that even more. So anyway, just to let you know, you're right. We can't do it alone.
No, so I'm trying to figure out, because essentially like my legacy of being a human on this planet, it's essentially that model, at least one of them.
Yeah.
That's something I'll leave behind, because in my head, it's flawless. Like I've just pulled it apart for years and years and years and changed things, and finally got to a point over the last few months where I'm like, this works. It works for me. And I've sent it to people and had them do it, and it works for them.
Yeah, good.
So I'm going now, it's not even about money. It's not even about success. It's how do I put this thing in people's heads? That's kind of my current challenge. I'm like, do I do that through a documentary or an app or writing a book, or what do I do? And I need collaborators.
A book is good. A book is good, and it helps give, like I have books and everything, and it really gets me attention, especially when I'm being interviewed. I'm being interviewed all the time, because the book has given me that notoriety, whatever, universally around the world. I sell more books in the UK than I ever do here, but that too. And so people find it and they said, oh, can I need, my people want to hear this, so that interview. So I do an interview and I get clients from that. Then the other thing is that one of the best places that leverages your knowledge and everything is webinars. So I've been trained in how to do webinars, and then the other one is case studies. So if you collect a lot of case studies, stories. What case studies are stories. It's like when you tell a story about how your process helps somebody, and then you just collect all these little stories. As they're almost like testimonials, but they're written more in a little story form, like paragraph in a story form, and they're case studies. Like you started talking to Billy Joe Bob, and you realized that he could use this, and then he came on board and he did XYZ and ABC or whatever, and now his life is kind of like a testimonial that you're writing about his life. Like you studied together, within 3 months or 6 months, all of a sudden he's moving forward in his life and his, goals and all this kind of stuff. So what they're doing is like what happened with Luke. People didn't hire Luke until they started talking, until they would talk to people to see who the heck Luke is. And so that's what case studies do. It's information. I don't want to go to your webinar yet, but give me some more information. So they go down this other loop over here, this other path over here, and they start reading the case studies and or your book. So it's your book, case studies, and then they might come back and go to your webinar when that happens. So different people do different things. So if you have all these pieces out there and have them automated and connected and messaged and stuff, then you give them choice.
Yeah.
I went for the ADHD conference international like 2 weeks ago. Now I'm still listening to the recordings because it's a lot. And actually a lot of people, they, got a chance to be the host speaker and share their knowledge and use the platform and share the contact with the slides, all the things. That's a really good way. And then, but I don't know what the result, but it's a really good way to share because I have a Q&A at the end.
Yeah.
I have learned heaps about ADHD for that, just for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Listen, recording. Yeah. Case study, they share something as well. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Case studies are good. So you don't have to do a whole lot. The book doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to.
No, it wouldn't be a massive book. It'd have a lot of questions in it too.
Mm-hmm.
Every chapter is going to end with questions.
Yeah.
If I write a book about that.
Yeah,
Because the idea is you finish the book and you've got your own map at the end that's custom for you and your needs.
Right. The smaller the book, the more apt they're going to read it. I made mine really.
Yeah.
I had large font. I had not a huge font. I think my font was 14 points, and it was 100, maybe 150 pages max.
Yeah.
I didn't put any pictures in it, and my first book does no pictures in it, but the second book does. So you got to get people that are going to want to read it in virtually one sitting. Go sit on the toilet and read it. It's kind of like, and so the smaller the better.
So I'm thinking it's good to have something like that, because at the moment it's like if someone comes across a video I make or like an article I write or something, it's sort of like there's so many people doing that.
Yeah.
Where it's really probably going to go unnoticed, especially because the angle I'm coming at, it's like a really, like it's not the most monetary angle. If I wanted to make money purely, then this would be a really dumb idea because it's probably not going to make much money, at least not for a while.
Well, it's all how you position it.
Yeah.
Position it, because what you're explaining already, in the beginning too, it's like when we first started talking and everything, it's like what you've created and what you have is I'm trying to think of the word oh gosh, this escaped me. It was your disruptor. Your disruptor.
Well, I don't like any of the models that exist.
Yeah, exactly.
But
that's
these all suck. I'm going to make a better
it's
one.
like, yes, exactly. So you're going to disrupt what's already out there and present something brand new. So, and then when people, latch onto it and get results and everything, then you create this tribe of people that just kind of like say, hey, this is cool. Then now you're creating a movement. So
yeah,
just, we have disruptors in our lives all the time, Nike, Apple, it's like they're all disruptors. They created something new that we all thought was like, oh, that's crazy. Starbucks, why are you opening up coffee shops? There's a million coffee shops already. Why are you coming along and doing that? So
yeah, because I think it'd be cool to have a book or something. Well, this is what I'm thinking at the moment, and it's a long vision, but it's like have a book, incorporate that book with an app that actually where people can actually adjust these metrics somehow. So it integrates. Do you know what an RPG is? Like a role-playing game?
Exactly.
Yeah, integrate RPG elements into an app.
Yeah.
Where people can actually, which they exist, like productivity apps and stuff, but people can jump into this app and actually have a version of the model in an app that they can adjust, and they can like use it as like a health app basically to monitor all these little areas of their life. And every once a week or however often, they'll get a notification on their phone to go and adjust anything. And
there you go. Yeah, you got vision. You got, I know you're blind, but you got vision.
Yeah. So, and then from there, the idea is have a book, have a course, throw 10 grand into exposing that to people.
Right.
And then see what happens from that. And then after that, people know my name, then I can go into coaching people specifically around that model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can, and develop a group program. It,
Yeah.
and see, when we get to a point where our one-on-one coaching, your one-on-one coaching, is the high ticket price, because you're spending so
Yeah.
much time with one person. And
Fully.
okay, but then you got tons of people that can't afford that big ticket. So you offer
I
them
think.
coaching masterminds, all this kind of stuff, so
Yeah.
that they can afford to at least take one step closer to working with you in your concepts.
Yeah, because I think it'd be like a book, an app, a monthly membership, and one-on-one coaching. They'd probably be the 4 different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a documentary. That was the other idea. It's like
Yeah.
make a documentary on this map.
Oh,
and
yeah.
basically do what I do in a book, but do it in a documentary.
Yeah, absolutely.
And call it literally like life or some variant on that. And it's the idea is someone's waking up and they've lost their memory and they're being initiated into what it is to be a human being and all the little metrics they've got to tick off in their life.
Wow.
Something like that.
Wow.
Something along those lines.
That would be cool. Really.
Yeah, it'd be like someone wakes up, they've completely lost their memory. They're like a blank slate human being. Like they've got a mind and they can think and everything, but they've got no memory of anything.
Yeah.
And it's just some sort of artificial intelligence walking them through how to actually succeed, like in the game of life.
Virtual reality. My gosh, if you could put this into a virtual reality kind of thing. Wow. Because virtual reality is getting big.
Yeah. One day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's something where it's the level of scope I'm thinking of. It's the level where I probably have to find collaborators that also believe in this vision.
Yeah. Yep. And investors. And that's what you're going to need that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think it's cool. Like it's something that could help a lot of people.
Absolutely. It could. There's no doubt about that. But you got to start applying it. If you want to get investors and all that kind of stuff, you got to apply it. You got to have some, proof of concept, and you've got to have already made some money, because that's proof of concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. The other idea, I've invented a new art form around it too, which is like, it's kind of like what I did, but in way more details. Like if you actually knew what you were doing as an artist, you work around the page like that, but you actually go into detail and you draw every element in your life as you go around.
Yeah.
So when you're finished, it's like this massive metric canvas.
You could have an art class and
so
having people helping people create their own path. Yeah.
But that's what I mean by lifestyle design. It's like, it's not something I can market. It's something I have to teach people about before I can sell it to them.
Well,
it's such a novel
you get to market it, because marketing, selling, that's what it is. You've got to sell it to people. But your marketing is how do you position it? How do you position it so that with the language and emotion and benefits, that's the marketing part, so that you can make sales. So that's what that is. So so you can definitely market this, but you've got to have that at least a basic structure.
Yeah.
So that when people buy it, you can walk them through the structure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's my current idea.
Well, I love it. It's amazing.
It's expanding that out.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's going to take a long time.
It's going to take as long as it takes.
Yeah.
But
I always frame it. I've got decades to do it.
Well, but
I don't think it'll take that long.
There's people out there that can't wait decades.
No. It's like I'll just keep chipping away at it and keep building it.
Well, you just create a small little, like a model. Like, before they build a ship, they build a model, or a building, they build a model. So build a model.
Yeah.
It's a smaller version, and start selling that. Start seeing if it sells. Start seeing how it works. Start seeing how people respond to it.
Yep.
And then you can build it from there. because
I'd like to do some keynote speaking and
oh, absolutely,
train,
you would be so good at that.
like connect with some influence. I've done a bit of it before, but not for a while.
Yeah.
But I can public speak easily. I can talk to you. You know, I can talk how I'm talking to you to 1,000 people. It doesn't faze me. And
Okay, Luke, thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
See
you.
see you
soon.
later.
Okay, bye.
See you later. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to go too. I need to.
Yeah,
I need to
I do
keep these
too in a
calls
sec.
down to an hour, so that
Yeah,
we can keep going. So, but thank you so much for sharing that.
no worries. Yep.
Yeah, and you got a good thing going here. So thank you.
Alrighty.
Thank
I'll
you.
talk to you later.
Okay, thanks.
See ya.
Bye.